It's Monday. Welcome back to the 22nd floor for some more Football Spun. There's a new name for Manchester City fans to feast their eyes on because no sooner have they told Barcelona's Samuel Eto'o to get stuck. They now have their sights set on stealing the Sevilla striker Luis Fabiano from under the noses of AC Milan. We start today with the Spanish newspaper Sport, which says that City are more than ready and willing to trump Milan's offer of around £16 million. Of course they are. In fact, Fabiano would cost only a fraction of the money they were prepared to spend on Eto'o and would be a lot less hassle. Having said all that, I still think Eto'o might be up for a move to City once he realises that the better offer he's waiting for just isn't going to come. Manchester United say that they're not signing players over 26 because they've got no resale value. Eto'o's 28. Arsenal just couldn't afford him, and Liverpool probably could. If they really wanted him, though, they'd have moved in by now. Now, just on Liverpool, the Xabi Alonso saga continues, and you know how it goes already. Real Madrid want him. He wants to go, but Liverpool don't want to sell, or, more to the point, they don't want to sell unless they get silly money for him. £35 million to be exact. Well, now Real have offered £22 million, £3 million less than they originally offered, because they know that Alonso wants to leave and they know that Liverpool are pretty much backed into a corner. Chelsea won't be backed into a corner by John Terry. The Mail said that Roman Abramovich has told his skipper that he won't be increasing his wages to see off City. And since Terry's got 3 years left on his contract, it pretty much means he'll have to hand in a transfer request if he wants that 300 grand a week waiting for him at Eastlands. What should Terry do? What would you do if you were him? Should he fight his way out of Stamford Bridge, or does he owe them a debt after the club made him a star? Tell us your thoughts. spy@mirror.co.uk or mirror.co.uk/spy. Now, before we go into your messages, we're hearing lots of rumours about the Newcastle defender Stephen Taylor, and not Chelsea, but Arsenal. We'll check those out and get back to you later in the week. But time for your messages. And Davy Moyes, who I'm sure is not the Everton boss, wants to know if the Toffees are signing the midfielder Stephen Defoe from Standard Liège. Well, as far as we know, they've offered around £12 million for him, so yes. Sonny Thomas Rowe is among lots of you asking if Arsenal are bringing in a defensive midfielder. Well, the move for the overpriced, you know my feelings on him, Filippo Melo from Fiorentina looks doomed to failure as he's about to sign a 5-year deal with Juventus. And TCW wants to know if Liverpool are in for the Athletic Bilbao midfielder Javi Martinez. No, they're not. Soon after Cristiano Ronaldo moved to Real Madrid, we did a feature here on the show looking at the possible replacements around the world that could go into Man United as his successor. One of them was the Gremio midfielder Douglas Costa. Maybe Sir Alex watches the show because he's been after Douglas ever since. Now the Guardian are reporting today that Gremio have agreed a deal with United to take the Brazil under-20 international, which could be worth as much as £21 million. Understandably, United see that as too much money for a player who hasn't even played 20 senior games yet, but they're going to pay an initial outlay of £7 million with the rest based on whether he or not he fulfills his potential. Lots of debate about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I'm not so sure that buying a striker who was rubbish against Man United in the Champions League is the best way about going about it for Chelsea. But I saw in the papers on Sunday that they're willing to pay as much as, wait for it, £70 million to sign him. You know my views there. Let me know yours on the YouTube and on the blog. I called for an end to all that rabbit suit and bear suit nonsense from last year, but I might have to get that going again if Chelsea pay anywhere near that much for one of the most overhyped players in world football. Talking of overhyped players, it's time for the Frank Ribery competition. You know the deal. Guess how much he's going to move clubs for, and you win the Total 90 Shoot 2 boots. CG is thinking outside the box. He says £38 million plus 70% of his image rights. Harris Maxwell in Tokyo says £41 million. And Emmanuel St. Pierre thinks he'll go for £45 million. Keep them all coming. You know how to get in touch. Some news in brief. West Brom, Celtic, Newcastle and Reading are all in for the highly rated Coventry player Danny Fox. Everton have hit trouble in their bid to sign right-back Kyle Norton from Sheffield United. They want him to go to Spurs. Leeds have been at the gin again. They now want £8 million for the midfielder Fabian Delph, with Aston Villa, Spurs and Fulham in for him. Portsmouth want the Spurs right back Pascal Chimbonda, and Wolves are rivaling Bolton to sign the not very good Aston Villa defender Zat Knight. Time for Shame the Player, and Markham wants us to shame Robinho at Manchester City. He says here, he moved to City purely because of money and didn't even bother to find out that they weren't playing European football. Even though I support Manchester United, I think he should have moved to Chelsea, and I fear that this is the first of many incidents that is inevitably going to take over the future of world football. Do you agree, or do you have a player that you want to shame? Post on YouTube, the Spy blog, and on our email, and we'll read it out for you. In the meantime, there's more Spy for you tomorrow. I'll see you then.